Warriors Fan TV recap. Sharks 30, New Zealand Warriors 32. Round five's done and dusted. Back again. We're back again with Ty. Ty is stateside, sitting in a cafe and a restaurant with his whānau. And bro, love to get your thoughts on this. But before we get into it, bro, when was the
Mhm.
last time you can remember we were second in the competition after round five?
Well, weirdly, I started reading a lot of articles. So I don't know in terms of second, but I think it was 2018 when we had a similar record. And then I think it was a while back when we actually had a 5-0 start. So it's been a long time. Let's put it that way.
So you were stateside when this game was going on, right?
Hmm.
Over in America. And describe for me, bro. Where did you watch it? In your hotel room? Were you in a bar? Where was it?
Yeah, cool. So we're actually in Minnesota at the moment, and it's been snowing. So I did want to go watch it at a bar, but in terms of the times the difference, I actually had to start watching the game at 1 a.m. in the morning. So I'm sure there may be some bars open, but I don't know which ones are showing Warriors over here. So I actually watched it at my Airbnb, and yeah, in the comfort of my bed with my iPhone out, was watching it, and yeah, as we saw the score and as we came back, oh man, I was trying my best not to yell the house down. So yeah, that's how it kind of played out.
So you're doing those ones. You're doing those ones with the cover on, with the headphones on. Try not to make any noise.
Yeah, yeah. So it was those silent yells like,
Well, let's
yeah.
start from. We'll start at the end. We'll go back to the beginning, right? So just want to big up the try scorers, bro. Egan, Newcore, Johnson on the
Hmm.
45 minute. Kossi. I want to get into all these players in just a second, bro. And Curran, Josh Curran.
Mm.
Um, you know, Nicholas Hines, 4 conversions from five. Shaun Johnson, 5 from 5. We know about the penalty goal. We'll get into that in just a second, my bro. But look,
Yep.
let's start in the beginning. I don't want to sound like a broken record. A lot of people have come on. Coaches said the same thing again. He's starting to sound like a broken record. Just cover off this one, bro. But it seems like once we get that sorted, imagine what imagine what kind of team we would be once we get the beginning sorted, eh?
Yeah, 100%. We still yet to play a full game. We're showing that we have resilience, which is great, but it would be even better if we can start good as well.
Yeah, hard out. Let's move on, man. I want to get into the game itself. Someone I want to touch on is was Volkman in for Tamaire Martin.
Mm.
Bit of a learning curve for him, I think, for this game, right?
Yeah, no, I think so too. Like, there was a lot of replaying it in my head. There was a lot of kicks that he did really well. I think a couple of them or one of them led to a try. He did those well. I do think though that Timothy Martin, what he offered was not just an attack, also in defense. So
Mm.
especially when Johnson would kick it, he was one of the first ones there all the time. I can't really recall Volkman not being there, or was he there first? But his presence wasn't as much as Timothy Martin. So
Mm.
I think he did well. But yeah, no, I think I like to see Martin back there.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think any of us will say that he's there yet. Definitely, Tamaire Martin is our first pick number 6. But I think it was good for his experience, eh, bro, to be
Yeah.
to be on the field. I think he went off for HIA anyway, and then he was replaced as well.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
going into that game. Um, Bro, the big talking one one of the big talking ones on social media was Josh Curran and for Tohu Harris, bro. Dude was in reserve grades last week or a couple of weeks ago, and then he's replacing the big man. How do you reckon his game was overall?
Oh, he was mean. It's kind of like coming off the bench. He's taking that enforcer role, just the way that he was, running the ball. Obviously, ran that good short ball that led to that eventual try. And then he came out the line like spot tackles. Kind of like that. You kind of have someone that brings that energy and brings to the game. I do see because I've been reading a bit around. What his Webster said, and also Curran even said that he had a few things to work on, and he knew it too. So it looks like sending him down there into the New South Wales Cup, giving him time to work on that stuff. He just came with a hiss and a roar, man, and I liked it. It's just energy off the bench was just mean and sparked a few things and led to a try. So can't complain.
Another one that got a run, young guy Tom Ali. Just reading some of his stats here, bro. Pretty handy. Make 8 runs, 65 meters, 12 tackles. Didn't miss a tackle.
Yeah, mean. Yeah, no, he's been solid. Like even for the last couple games, like I think within the bench, you want people that are going to bring a lot of energy, and I think he's kind of got like I want to say he's like Tavanga, but like he's got a real like glue energy. He's just going to get in there, get do the hard work kind of thing, and um, he does bring a little bit of energy to the game as well. But yeah, like he was good, and he's been good for the last couple of weeks. But he's not the guy that you're expecting a miracle play out of. He's just gonna get there, get dirty, and and get off so another person can get back on. So after they've had their spell, so yeah, to hear no missed tackles, that's even cool.
Totally, man. And the guy that I think we were talking about last week, although Lussick did do a solid job last week. Thoughts on Egan when he come back into the fold, bro? He had a pretty standout game for me anyway.
Yeah, no, he was great. And to get the nod as captain, it shows that not only management, but I'm sure the boys believe that he's got that leadership quality. What I've liked about his game this year in comparison to the rest, because we've known that he can pass, but we've never really seen him run. And I don't know if this is the most tries he's ever scored in a season. It feels like, bro, like he's run a bit more this season, and I feel like it makes a difference because if you're, at least taking some of that pressure off in terms of running it, then at least you can then feed the boys or feed the forwards to run into the defense. If you're just constantly passing, then those markers are just going to constantly just run out. So I think he's been keeping the markers in check. Obviously, he's been a bit solid. He's been solid in D, and he's got a few, meat pies over the last, few weeks. So hopefully, he can keep playing like that. Because yeah, I think the Warriors need it.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Seems like there's quite a bit of competition now, for like different positions, which I want to get into in just a second. But you look up and down the park there, management has got a bit of a nice problem on their hands about who they're going to pick for the next week. When was the last time you were kind of like in that position throughout the season where it's like, oh, we don't know who we're going to put in these positions or those positions, eh?
Yeah, man. A little bit spoiled for choice. I think one of the things I always kind of go back to, and I talk to a lot of people about this, is that I remember seeing, not seeing an interview, but reading an article. They had an interview with Webster around what he wanted to do with the team, and he said with all the selection he had, they asked, are you going to bring the system that you have from Penrith? And he said, that's a mistake you can make. It's actually about looking at the players you've got and working around them. And ever since he said that, I became a fan. I instantly knew that someone like that with that kind of presence knows that he's trying to figure things out. What works, what doesn't. And I think we've kind of been flawed in the past with coaches taking systems from other teams and trying to expect the Warriors to kind of adopt it. So not only Webster but people have brought in a few new additions, but also bringing in the coach that's actually got a presence of mind to go, okay, what have we got to work with? And now that he's got that, he's also like I've also seen that he likes healthy competition. So he's obviously doing things in the background, getting these boys against each other, but for good reason that they're trying to fight for a spot. And now we're starting to see these players are having to fight for the spot because we've got a few more choices. But also, it looks like when they come onto the field, take Curran, it looks like they're trying to make sure that they stay in that team. So yeah, there's just a combination, I think, where selection of players and the spoiled choice, but I also think how the management is utilizing that opportunity and and utilizing the team. So it's paying off.
Well, it's a headache at the moment, bro. I mean, we haven't had a fully fit squad. We haven't had a squad where everyone's completely fit and we're still getting the job done.
Yeah, bro. That's the beautiful thing about it, right? It's like, okay, what is your team really made of when they don't have everyone? So we didn't have Tohu Harris, obviously starting. We didn't have Mitchell Barnett. And I kind of thought, without a bit of because Mitchell Barnett brings a bit of like, strike. Kind of reminds me, not to say, I'm not going to compare him, but he kind of like our Kevin Campion of our days. Like he's someone that's going to just bring it every game. And I kind of thought we were going to be on the back foot with like Hamlin, Uele, Boyce, with Hunt, with Finucane, those, and also Toby Rudolph. I thought they were going to give it to us, and they did. They showed that at the start. I was like, oh, here we go. We don't have any enforcers. But hey, we didn't have those two, and the boys figured it out, So, that's what I'm wrapped about. That you can put anyone on their park, and it looks like they're going to play for their jersey. And that's all I've ever asked as a Warriors fan. Nothing else. Just play for the jersey, go hard, and we still lose, and the effort's there. Can't complain.
Yeah. So what comes to mind at the moment, was Kathy, our first wahine on Warriors Fan TV, and I think she summed it up beautifully, bro. She says we're playing like a family. We're playing
Mm.
for each other. We're playing for the jersey. We're actually playing like a family now. And I think out of all the interviews that I did on the weekend, that statement there, you can see it on the field. You can see it in their faces. They're like playing for each other, playing like a family.
Yeah, hard out. And they're just playing for each other, and again, I have to give the reps to the management. What they've done in the off season. Obviously, the boys have got to buy in. So part of it is their choice to buy into the system. But what they've been offered, it seems like they've bought in. And you can just see it even when there was an incident with Mulatalo, getting in people's faces and all that. You can see in the background the boys are like, tapping on each other back, like, it looked like they said like, don't worry, we'll get our chance. It just looked like that. Where Warriors of before, it looked like things would happen and they'll just kind of, go back to business as usual. We're here to play type thing. So yeah, kind of, I agree with that kind of statement. Here to play as a family, and that's all we ask. I think that's anyone's as a fan. All you want to see is the boys go give it a crack. And Johnson said it at the end of the game, as posted to, what is this could be a story we tell our grandkids or our kids, about what if we came back and boys, let's just go have a crack, and that's all we want to see.
Obviously, winning at the same time would be nice, but no, absolutely right. You want to, people pay their tickets to go to the games. They want to be entertained. Don't mind losing. It's just the manner sometimes in which we lose, and then we start questioning the commitment, and then we start questioning all sorts of stuff. But absolutely right. Get out there, play for the jersey, play for each other, have fun. Cliche as hell, you know, have fun, and come that second half, it looks like they were definitely pulling together, and they didn't really have an answer for us, and quieting down that Ronaldo dude who was talking all that smack. So he was very quiet in that second half, even though he had two tries. That second half, he was probably angry at something else.
Mm-hmm. And it kind of like in the silver lining there, I guess, is that you saw when he started talking, you could see some of the boys like getting under them, and you want that.
Mm,
I'm not always a big believer on chip and shoulder because I think sometimes you can get over energized and like do too much. But if I think about Kossi when he scored their try and he was over Teague Wilton, like we've got one on you. You can just see even just the way he played. Like, to be honest, he came out of his shell. I have to give to Kossi. He played really, really well after that point when he got tackled as soon as he got the ball, and when Ronald Mulatalo got on him.
mm,
After that, it just seemed like there was a switch. I felt
mm,
like after that, him as a person, I think they still got scored on, but like, I mean, just like the old Warriors would have either folded and
mm.
like just like let him get scored on, or back in the days turned into a fight. Now we're starting to see like, okay, is that what you got? I'm gonna level one up on you then, and I like that. It was good to see.
Just going back to what someone else said on our group was these slow starts and us winning. What if that turns into the habit of us just
Mm,
having that slow start, and then the other team going, holy shit, we know what's going to come next, and them not having any answer for that, what's going to come next. So, I'm always like, well, what would happen if we start really good and we finish really good? But what happens if we just turn into that team where you can't score on us in the last 20 minutes, or in the whole second half, you just can't go anywhere. What if we turn into that team?
yeah, yeah, hard. I hope we do. I hope we turn into a team that can control the whole 80 minutes. I do think it's a really good, I guess, thing that, we know that we're not out of the game anymore. We've got a chance to kind of come back. The thing is, like, always thinking like that, right? It's only an 80-minute game. If it was 10 hours and, we could still maybe come out with the win, that would be great. But it's best to kind of be a front leader. And I think that's a mindset shift, right? So I feel like the Warriors still got a lot to work on because obviously the starts are bad. But once they can see themselves as like, I kind of compare it to like the horses. Once you can see yourself as a
Mm.
front runner, they'll stay in front and no one will catch you. That's when we're going to see, this is now a championship team where I feel like maybe I had the wrong picture that they were outside the eight this year. Maybe I'm seeing them more as an 18, but they have to change their style somewhat more to be like, for a whole 80 minutes, you don't want to mess with us,
Yeah.
Once we see that, we're booking those tickets, baby.
Um,
100%.
Well, look, let's switch it over, bro, because I want to get your thoughts on these ones because we've got a couple of players, bro, that are coming back, and I want to get your thoughts on where do these players go now with what's been happening, right? So we'll start off with Mitchell Barnett. He could be back. Now, if he comes back, bro, who, and I'll say this with all the other ones too. I've only got three, so have a think about it. Who gets dropped?
Cool. So
Mm,
Mitchell Barnett first.
mm,
Yeah. So who I would, and I guess what the coaches will do would be different. So I believe with Mitchell Barnett coming back, um, for me, I'll take Bunty out. I think Bunty's been good
mm.
there. But I do like Tom Ali's game. I think he's been creating a bit of a glue on the bench. So I think for me, I would put him in front of Bunty. But I do think the coaching going to probably pull out Ali or Suriname. So Ali or Suriname will come out for Mitchell Barnett. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I don't know. I don't know if he is due to come back, but when he comes back, he's got a lot of experience. Is Luke Metcalf, if he's fit, who drops off to the bench, bro?
So how they're playing him in that preseason, I think they'll try and. It looks like he's either going to play six. I remember when he was at the Sharks, he was playing a bit of fullback.
Mm,
So with Chance and Timothy Martins, I think they're the first picks. So I only think Metcalf gets a shot at six if Martin's not there. I don't think he gets a shot at fullback. I think Tolpaki will go to that place.
mm,
But I like Metcalf. If anything, I think Metcalf's our transition from Johnson. So if Johnson doesn't, touch wood, he doesn't because he's been playing the best I've ever seen him in a while. I think Metcalf will go to six, Martin will go to seven. It's kind of like that will be the passing of the torch. So I think that's what the Warriors are doing, are kind of working him,
mm.
and he'll be the kind of next version of Johnson for us.
When Martinez Lesniak, bro, is fit. When Martinez Lesniak is 100% and he's ready to roll, bro. Who in that back line is off to the bench?
Yes, the hard one, eh? Yeah, I'd love to say that. I
Mm,
think Tossie would probably go out and Dalen will come in. Um, the only way I would pick, so that's what I think the coaching going to do. I think the coaching going to pick Dalen in front of Tossie. But my thing is I couldn't pick because I actually am like I think Tossi's starting to, find himself, and I still don't think he's like the best winger in the competition. I don't think Dalen's there, but he's shown when he does play, he plays with like a lot of energy, and he can be quite safe sometimes. There are some things to his game, but I think the
mm.
coach will put Dalen in. But I could only decide if I saw them at training. I need to see who's there ripping it up. That's who I put first, and but I know the coach will probably put Dalen straight in once he's fit.
Okay, because we've got Pompey. A few people online been questioning his performance. Vilia and Montoya, um,
Yeah.
pretty pretty lethal looking, back three who are doing the business. So again, coming back to a bit of a good headache to have for the decision makers, about who they're going to pick for the next week. It should be done on merit. I know experience comes into it, but having that competition for spots pretty much from one through the 13. It's like it's a nice place to be in.
It's an amazing place to be in, and there's obviously still Braden Williame that could come back, and I think Bailey is starting to find himself. I do think out of all the centers we have currently at the Warriors, he's probably the one with the highest ceiling. I feel just he's got something on attack. He's still learning D a little bit, but there's something on attack. But he kept Ramian. Is it him against Ramian? Doesn't matter, even if he was against Talakai, but he did nothing wrong. I felt there's a lot that he could do. All good, thank you. I'll do also sorry. Thank you. Um, so you might have to cut that part. But
All good, bro. I'll keep it in. I'll keep it in.
I think like one thing I'll have to say, and this is just me being transparent and honest. Um,
Mm,
I think Pompey, watching him over the last year, I personally felt like why is he there?
mm,
I felt like his game was still missing a lot of stuff, and really was just like he'll do a few brain exposure and things like why would you do that kind of stuff. But I'll be the first to say like the game of the weekend I thought he was pretty solid.
mm,
I'm not even gonna lie, like thought he was safe, he was solid. He showed against Valentine Holmes 2 weeks ago that I can run over you at will too.
mm,
Like I think defensively we saw that at the start, right? It was their wing and their edge that got hit a couple times, and usually, obviously, it can be half, but usually, your centers are a lot more vocal. So if they're scoring on you twice, it does come down to what is your center doing to make sure that there's enough numbers. Also your halves, but so defensively questions, but attack, you know, he wasn't too bad. He wasn't too bad. Personally, I like to see what Viliami and Balia and Williami do together.
Mm,
See if that makes. But it looks like they're both the same side.
mm.
So yeah, that's kind of how I think the backline's looking alright. I do think though that out of the whole park, in terms of where we need to bolster, is that backline. I still don't think we've got a top four backline personally. Um, I think the forwards are great. Maybe one more would be addition would be good, but their backline still needs some work. But these guys are showing that maybe they got something. Every week they're still proving themselves. So I don't know. We'll see later to the end of the year if that's still the same case.
It's great to be a Warriors supporter at the moment, bro. Hey,
I
it's,
agree, and that's why we're wearing this out in Minnesota.
it's a nice place to be in, bro. It's a nice place to be in. All right, so look, let's look to next week. We did the business against the Knights. A lot changes in a week. In a day in this game. Back on the 3rd of March seems like a year ago. 2012 was quite convincing. After that, they just scraped the Tigers, and they're not having a great season. They got, I wouldn't say pumped by the Dolphins, but they lost that one. They had a good win against the Raiders at home, and they drew against the Seagulls. So they're going to want blood next week, bro. But unfortunately, they come up against the Warriors, and we're on a fly at the moment. We just did the business against the Sharks. What's your kind of take on the game? What's your kind of feeling about that game that's coming up? Easter Sunday here, by the way, on
Mm.
Sunday. So are you concerned at all, or
Well, I remember Webster saying, we'll really measure ourselves against the Sharks.
the Sharks?
He considers Sharks one of the top teams,
Mm,
and we proved that we could take them on. These are the danger games because I do believe Warriors are better than Knights. I have the Knights coming last, even though Tigers haven't won yet. I had the Knights coming last. So I believe Warriors are better than them. But I think these are the ones where you're like, if you've changed your attitude, you're not going into every game cocky. You're actually playing the game, actually, coming out here to say we're front runners. We'll see it this week. Okay, so for me, it's like, yes, the Sharks were good to see we get the top teams, can we beat them? But I feel like is our attitude still solid when we come against teams that, are not even supposed to be close to us? And if this is either close or we lose, it shows we still got a lot of work. So that's how I'm seeing it. If we can
agree.
from 80 from the start to the end, outpace them, oh, we might be in for a really, really good year.
It's definitely one of those games where we could lose and come back home, and then we've got Warriors Cowboys 5 p.m. Let's go, Mount Smart. Um,
Oh,
But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, against the Knights. Just seen someone was down at Auckland Airport today and took a photo of Shaun Johnson in a moon boot.
true.
You know, hopefully it's nothing torn or anything like that. But potentially could be rested as well this weekend.
Mm, mm. Yeah, just going back to, accepting, I guess, this new Warriors. I think it's, we've just been so many years of riding this roller coaster that obviously there is the loyal fan in us that wants to see us, prevail and go out there and take it out this year. Um, but I think you know, seeing them in contrasting games, we just need to see that. So, like for me, going from Cowboys, Bulldogs to a Sharks to a Knights,
Mm,
that's teams that will be different places of the ladder. And I feel like we've already beaten the Knights.
mm,
Um, but I feel like we need to see, when we go back to these games, do we still, hold ourselves in high regards? And if they can, like I'll be the first to say I'll accept the Warriors this week if they can not necessarily show an 80-minute performance. I think that's too much to put on team shoulders this so early in the game, but to show us from the start to the end
yeah.
that they can lead. And if they can, I'm like, okay, maybe this is definitely the real package. This ain't any lie. This is actual Warriors, and we should start accepting them that they're a resilient team.
SJ said it on that interview. We're effing so resilient, bro. I haven't heard anyone talk like that who's a Warriors player ever. And
Yeah.
and and I know it's after the game and emotions are high. He's just kicked this. He's just done a clutch move again, right, for us. But there's just like a lot of belief in that corridor. There's a lot of belief in his words that he was just like, it was almost like this is who we are. So we're gonna see that. We're gonna see if that's the real deal come nights, and then we're gonna see again if it's the real deal when I go down there on the 15th, and you're gonna come hopefully on the 15th down there and
Yeah, man.
to watch us beat the Cowboys. But look, early
Yeah.
days. Do you want to throw a prediction on the score for this weekend?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, they must have really well to come back from the Seagulls, so that's
It did, eh?
throwing me off a little bit. Um, I'm gonna go 32-12 to the
Oh,
Warriors.
you got a 12 too. So I was going to say 22-12. No, I'm still going to stick to 22-12. 22-12 Warriors. I think last 20 is going to be maybe one try scored, maybe the last 31 try scored, and that could be us. So I'm thinking, 16-12 we score one try in the last 10 minutes, and then kick a conversion.
Yeah, it could go that way. It could go that way. And the only reason why I think it actually I think we'll start good this week. No, that's a heavy prediction. I think we're going to start good this week, but I think it's going to be the middle of the game where we see a bit of test,
Mm.
and then I think we bring it home strong. Well, that's what I'm hoping anyway.
It's a good story anyway, bro. Sounds good. I'll be honest. I didn't have us winning that game on the weekend. Um,
Mm.
just kind of psychologically preparing myself for our second loss of the year. I thought it was going to be, when they came out and it was like 3 tries within the first 10 minutes or something. I was like, I'm right. I'm right.
All of us thought the same.
I'm right.
Yep.
But bro, I'm gonna leave you go off with the whānau over there in America. Thanks again for coming back on the show and blessing us with your knowledge, bro.
Cheers. No, thank you for having me. And yeah, up the wires. Let's go.
Up the waz.